What is good, guys? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's happening with Tesla spying a couple of other tickers and break down some big news involving the Cybertruck, which you should be watching for as time progresses. But let me just mention that I am not a financial planner. Make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total. And the offer is very soon, in just 9 days. Anyways, for Tesla, we have a nice inverse head and shoulders like structure. It's actually holding up very, very well. And this is looking like a nice accumulation right before earnings. Now, with this structure, Tesla's looking quite bullish right now. It does favor the upside a bit more. But the question now becomes what's going to happen with other factors affecting the markets and how high will Tesla go, in my opinion. So I want to give you guys more information about this. Just know that we have this news right here about the Cybertruck. The first Cybertrucks appears to have been registered in Europe. I've seen talk about this previously, but this is actually the first report coming out from one employee. So this is some very, very big news as they're continuing to expand. Last week, France-based Tesla advisor and events champion Anthony Martin has talked about some very, very big news as the first Cybertrucks actually came out and they were just registered in Europe alongside with lots of photos in the Czech Republic and also other places. So very, very awesome stuff to see this expanding in Europe. And it's continuing to spread across different European countries, in my opinion. This is going to be very, very big. Now, with this coming out, one thing that you have to mention is that they haven't been approved through the EU systems quite yet, but there's a very, very good chance that as time progresses, like I said, it's still going to spread in different European countries where they can. And then once they get necessary approvals, which I think they will eventually, we will continue to see Tesla's Cybertruck spreading throughout Europe eventually. I do think that's actually a very, very big thing that's going to be happening. So, in my personal opinion, I consider this great news, especially as they're continuing to get a lot more exposure over there. We're starting to see a lot more buyers over there, and there's a lot of excitement for how they're going to end up performing. But in more European countries, we should be seeing them once we get necessary approvals and such. And this should continue to expand all over the world as time goes on. Right now, they're primarily found in the US, but seeing them in other countries is just another good sign. That's continuing to be very, very bullish news. On top of this, Elon Musk gave us some more timelines for the Tesla humanoid robots, the Optimus robot. And like I said in my earlier video, he basically mentioned that by next year, they should be able to have some actually working in the Gigafactory. And then by 2026, they should start the bigger production for other companies. That's actually some very, very big news, at least for Tesla. And with the next gen coming out, I can't wait to see how this ends up developing. Now, this is also a very, very bullish catalyst moving forward because each of these robots has a lot of potential for Tesla continuing to grow, and it's going to help bring in a lot more revenue. So I just wanted to call that out. I made another video about this earlier about Elon Musk, and I will talk more about that later as well. So for right now, I just wanted to say that we have a very, very nice looking inverse head and shoulders like structure. This is actually favoring upside a bit more. We have this imbalance over here to fill at 254, and also this high up here is the level I'm going to be watching for very close to about 258. So I do think Tesla's going to push even higher. I think there's a lot of buyers stepping in trying to defend it. Let's see if we try to hold above the support right here at 248 as well. That's where our 200 EMA happens to be. If that fails us, I'll be looking at 246.5. Looking at the structure, we look more bullish, a nice inverse head and shoulders. I do favor upside a little bit more. So far, so good from Tesla, at least moving forward. For SPY, I want to mention that we're also trying to rebound, but we're going to be testing this very, very key level. We're basically approaching our 30 minutes 200 EMA resistance, the 555 area, the exact level I called out. Our support's at 552.5, so we'll have to see if SPY could hold up. It does look like we have an inverse head and shoulders, but this could always be a trap, so you want to be open-minded. Will we continue to kind of like break this 200 EMA going into tomorrow and then start to fill this imbalance up to 558, or is this a big trap? Is this going to be just a small little rebound only for us to continue to get rug pulled later to fill the gap down here? I don't know for sure. I'm going to be waiting very, very patiently. I do see an inverse head and shoulders, but this could be a trap, guys. So be open-minded. We haven't broken our 200 EMA yet, plus past 555.34. We did touch 555, but we haven't broken past 555.34, and we haven't even lost key support yet. We're kind of still in the middle. We are favoring upside a little bit more, but like I said before, wait for confirmation. We're still waiting. Give it some time. We will see what the big move happens to be. Same thing with the QQQ. Are we about to rally to about 485 or 200 EMA, or are we about to reject and start coming back down even lower, right? We have this bearish looking trend on the QQQ and also on SPY, which is perpetuating. Will we get a big rug pull? I'll be watching this carefully. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up about this to be careful with this structure. It could be very, very tricky. Aapl pumped and only to come back down. So it did pump to about 227, only to dip, and now it's kind of consolidating. If Aapl fails here, when you zoom out and look at the structure, it's bearish, right? This is actually still a bearish structure. This high here came down, lower high came down, lower high, so it's still dipping. If we lose structure here at 222, I'll be looking for a bigger dip. So be careful with Aapl. It's not necessarily done yet. I'm going to be very, very mindful of that 222 area. I think it might dip a little bit, so just be careful. And we'll see if it ends up testing that or not. The IWM got a breakout. We had a nice double bottom leg structure. I called this out as well. We're going to be looking at 221 as resistance, our next potential target. If that breaks, that's where we had previous support becoming resistance. I'll be looking for 224. So far, so good from the IWM. Nice accumulation structure, looking pretty good. Coinbase dipped a bit only to return to 265, which was one of our targets. We'll see if this breaks or not. It's looking pretty good so far. If we eventually break this as Bitcoin is trying to push, I'll be looking for the 270s to eventually come. 272 would be our next potential target, so it looks pretty bullish to me. Amazon's in the middle, kind of trading sideways. We have resistance at 185, support at 182, and we've been going back and forth, so give it some time. There's a possible inverse head and shoulders, but this could be a trap, and it's still possible it comes back down. If we end up losing 182, I'll be a little bit concerned for a dip all the way down to 180.5, so just be careful. For Meta, we did push nicely. We did call out some upside on Meta, but the problem is we haven't been able to hold above 490. If we do hold above that, I'll be looking for 495. If we fail to do so, we could be tipping back down to 482 tomorrow. So it really depends if we can hold above 490 or not. So be careful. Microsoft is just kind of shuffling as well. Not doing much. It has an inverse head and shoulders. It looks a little bit more bullish, but I want to see it break 444.67. If we break that, yes, we could push higher to fill the gap to 448. If we fail to do so, watch 440 as support. If that fails, we dip lower. So 440, if we lose that, we're bearish. 444, if we break that, 444.67 specifically, break that and we're bullish. We're stuck in the middle, so give it some time. Google's trying to bounce. It is technically looking more bullish. It technically could be forming an inverse head and shoulders too. So we'll see if it dips a little bit, but if it does dip, it has to bounce very soon. And then if that's the case, I don't really mind that as much because it really depends on what happens with earnings. But so far, very, very nice setup. With that being said, Tesla's holding up very well, has more upside potential. It's still looking pretty good. But whether or not this continues depends on other factors. So we'll just have to see what happens with earnings, other factors like that for both Tesla and Google/Alphabet. Anyways, that's it for my video. I really love to see Elon Musk being very actively engaged, at least with Tesla, especially after his pay package, which he was entitled to, after what shareholders decided. So I just want to make it very clear that Musk is continuing to talk a lot about Tesla. We're continuing to see a lot of growth, and there's so much potential for Tesla for the long term when it comes to Optimus, the robotaxi, and all these different factors. For now, I'll see you guys very soon, just a couple of hours for the next update. Have a great day, and peace out.